Alright, so picture this. You're out for a nice peaceful hike. The birds are chirping, the sun is filtering through the leaves, and then you feel it. That unmistakable prickle on the back of your neck, the feeling that you're not alone. Welcome everyone to a very special and very spooky edition of Nautical Outdoors. Today we're swapping our usual serene nature walks for a journey into the shadows. We're counting down the world's top 10 most haunted forests, places where the trees have seen more than just changing seasons. These aren't just patches of woods, they're stages for some of history's most chilling, bizarre, and downright terrifying stories. Each forest on our list comes with its own unique brand of nightmare fuel. We're talking about everything from vengeful spirits and ancient curses to UFOs and my personal favorite, headless ghosts. These are places where history has left a deep, dark stain, and the stories that have grown from that soil are as twisted as the roots of the trees themselves. We'll be digging into the legends, the eyewitness accounts, and the unsettling truths that have earned these forests their spine-chilling reputations. So, grab a blanket, maybe a flashlight, heck, grab a friend, because things are about to get weird. Before we dive headfirst into this leafy abyss, I want to hear from you. Have you ever braved a visit to any of the forests on our list? Or maybe you have your own local haunted woods with a story that keeps you up at night. Drop a comment below and share your experiences. I'll be reading them, probably with the lights on. Now are you ready? Let's venture into our number 10 spot, a place where the trees themselves seem to whisper with sorrow. Kicking off our list at number 10 is a place of profound sadness and unsettling beauty. Aokigahara Forest in Japan. Located at the base of Mount Fuji, it's also known as Jukai, or the Sea of Trees. The name sounds peaceful, but the reality is anything but. The forest floor is a bizarre landscape of volcanic rock, and the trees grow so densely packed that they block out almost all sound, creating an unnerving, deathly silence. It's a silence that, according to many, is frequently broken by the sorrowful whispers of the dead. This place has a tragic reputation as a destination for those looking to end their lives, a history that has soaked into the very soil. Locals and visitors alike report a plethora of paranormal phenomena. They speak of seeing eerie, the Japanese equivalent of ghosts, flitting between the trees, pale, shadowy figures of those who died here, forever trapped. Compasses and GPS devices are said to malfunction, not because of some magnetic anomaly but, as legend has it, because of the spiritual energy interfering with them. Many believe the forest itself has a malevolent energy, actively calling to the depressed and luring them in, ensuring they never find their way out. It's a truly somber place, where the immense natural beauty is overshadowed by a deep, lingering tragedy. For our number 9 spot, we travel to Romania, the land of Dracula, to a place that might be even weirder than any vampire castle, the Hoyabachu Forest. This place isn't just haunted, it's a full-blown paranormal hotspot, often called the Bermuda Triangle of Transylvania. The stories here are all over the map, in the best way possible. We've got everything from ghost sightings and disembodied voices to, get this, UFOs. A famous photograph taken here in 1968 allegedly shows a classic flying saucer hovering over the treetops, and it's just one of many such reported sightings over the decades. But it's not just aliens. People who enter the woods report sudden, intense feelings of anxiety, nausea, and the sensation of being watched by unseen eyes. They emerge with unexplained rashes, scratches, and burns. Then there's the clearing, a near-perfect circle in the middle of the forest where nothing grows, and scientists have no explanation for it. Legend says it's a portal to another dimension. Add to that the stories of people disappearing for hours or even days with no memory of the lost time, and you've got a forest that seems actively hostile to human presence. The trees themselves grow in bizarre, twisted patterns as if they're trying to escape something. Coming in at number 8, we have a forest straight out of a Brothers Grimm story, and I mean that in the most terrifying way possible. Germany's Black Forest, or Schwarzwald, is a sprawling, mountainous region covered in dense evergreen trees that give the landscape its dark, foreboding name. For centuries, this place has been the setting for myths and legends, tales told to scare children into behaving. But some say these stories are more than just fiction. They speak of werewolves, known as werewolf, stalking the woods on moonlit nights, their howls echoing through the dark pines. Beyond werewolves, the forest is said to be the domain of witches, mischievous gnomes, and even the devil himself. One of the most famous legends is that of Der Grossman, or the Tall Man, a slender, horrifying entity with multiple arms and glowing white eyes who is said to stalk naughty children who wander into his woods. Then there's the tale of the water nymphs, or nixies, who live in the dark, cold lakes and lure men to a watery grave. It's a place where folklore feels incredibly real, where every shadow could be a monster and every rustle of leaves could be the approach of something sinister from a forgotten fairy tale. For number 7, we're off to England to explore Witchwood Forest, a place that proves even a beautiful English wood can hide a deadly secret. This former royal hunting ground is home to one of the United Kingdom's most chilling ghost stories, the Phantom of Amy Robsart. Amy was the wife of Robert Dudley, a favorite of Queen Elizabeth I. In 1560 she was found dead at the bottom of a staircase with a broken neck. While the official verdict was an accident, many suspected, and honestly still suspect, foul play, believing she was murdered to clear the way for Dudley to marry the Queen. Years later, Dudley was hunting in Witchwood Forest when he encountered the ghost of his dead wife. She confronted him, predicting that he would join her in 10 days. And he did, dying suddenly from a mysterious illness. But Amy's ghost didn't stop there. Her curse lives on. The legend says that anyone who encounters her sorrowful apparition in the woods will meet a similar untimely end. She's most often seen wandering near the spot where her husband saw her, a tragic figure whose touch, even as a ghost, is said to be fatal. So if you're ever in Witchwood and see a lonely lady, maybe turn and walk the other way quickly. Our number 6 spot takes us to the misty hills of Kurseong, India, and the deeply unsettling Dao Hill Forest. This area is surrounded by an aura of melancholy and dread, centered around a place known ominously as Death Road. This stretch of road, which runs between Dao Hill Road and the Forest Office, is the stage for the forest's most famous and horrifying apparition. Locals and tourists alike have reported seeing a young headless boy walking along the road before disappearing into the trees. Just a headless kid. Taking a stroll. It's fine, I'm fine. The sheer terror of this sighting has reportedly driven some people mad. But the headless boy isn't the only spirit here. The entire forest is said to be haunted, with people reporting the feeling of being watched, hearing disembodied footsteps following them, and seeing a terrifying red-eyed figure staring from the dense foliage. The creepiness spills over into the nearby Victoria Boys High School, which is over 100 years old, and is considered one of the most haunted places in India. During the winter vacation months when the school is empty, locals report hearing whispers, laughter, and the sound of footsteps echoing from the vacant halls, as if the spirits of the forest come to play. We're back in England for number 5, at a forest on the edge of London that has a dark and violent history-epping forest. For centuries, this was the perfect hiding place for criminals, outlaws, and most famously, highwaymen. These mounted robbers would use the dense woods as cover to ambush wealthy travelers on the nearby roads. The most legendary of these was Dick Turpin, a notorious 18th century highwayman. His spirit, along with those of his victims and fellow criminals, is said to still roam these woods, forever replaying their violent deeds. Visitors report hearing phantom hoofbeats thundering through the trees when no horses are present, and the desperate cries of those being robbed. Many have seen ghostly apparitions of men in tricorn hats and cloaks, stepping out from behind ancient oak trees. The forest was also the dumping ground for murder victims, including, tragically, the victims of the Babes in the Wood murders in the 1970s. This long, dark history of crime and violence has left an indelible mark. People also report a strange phenomenon where their cars, parked on a specific incline called Hangman's Hill, will inexplicably roll uphill as if being pulled by an unseen force, perhaps the ghost of a hanged man pulling them towards the gallows tree. At number 4, we head to Massachusetts, USA, to the Freetown Fall River State Forest, a place that serves as the dark heart of a paranormal vortex known as the Bridgewater Triangle. This 200-square-mile area is a buffet of high strangeness, and the forest is its epicenter. The land was allegedly cursed by Native Americans centuries ago after it was stolen from them by colonial settlers, and honestly it seems that curse is still active. The forest has been the site of numerous documented satanic cult activities, ritualistic murders, and animal sacrifices throughout the 70s and 80s. The paranormal activity here is off the charts. Visitors report seeing ghostly figures, shadowy apparitions, and mysterious floating orbs of light. But it gets weirder. This area is also a hotspot for UFO sightings and reports of cryptids, including giant snakes and, most famously, Bigfoot. There are also numerous accounts of pukwudgies, small, troll-like creatures from Wampanoag folklore that are said to be dangerous tricksters who lure people to their deaths. It's a place where every kind of paranormal and supernatural phenomenon seems to converge, making a walk in these woods a gamble with forces you really don't want to mess with. Sailing into our number 3 spot is Old House Woods in Matthews County, Virginia. This coastal forest is steeped in legends of pirates, soldiers, and of course, ghosts. The name itself comes from the colonial house that once stood there but mysteriously burned down. The woods border the Chesapeake Bay, and for centuries they were the perfect place for pirates like the infamous Blackbeard to hide out and, more importantly, bury their ill-gotten treasure. The ghosts of these swashbucklers are said to still guard their loot to this very day. People report seeing spectral pirates digging in the soil, their ghostly forms illuminated by phantom lanterns. But it's not just pirates. The woods are also haunted by British redcoat soldiers from the Revolutionary War, and Spanish conquistadors searching for a lost settlement. There are tales of a ghost ship that appears on the bay before vanishing, and of skeletal horsemen riding through the trees. One of the most persistent legends is of a mysterious glowing light that bobs through the woods, believed by some to be a ghost, and by others to be a supernatural guardian of the hidden treasure. It's a historical hauntapalooza with ghosts from every era. For our runner-up at number 2, we cross the pond again to Pembry Woods in Wales. This seemingly peaceful pine forest next to a beautiful beach hides a truly sinister history. For centuries, the area was notorious for wreckers, locals who would deliberately lure ships to their doom on the treacherous coastline. They would set up false lights on the shore to trick captains into thinking they were approaching a safe harbor, causing them to crash upon the rocks. The wreckers would then murder any survivors and plunder the cargo. It's said the ghosts of these drowned sailors and perhaps the wreckers themselves still haunt the woods and the nearby coastline. Fishermen and visitors have reported hearing terrifying screams and cries for help carried on the wind from the direction of the sea. They've seen ghostly, haggard figures wandering among the trees and along the dunes, forever searching for a safe harbor they will never find. Strange, unexplained lights, eerily similar to the wreckers' false beacons, are still seen dancing in the woods at night, as if the sinister trap is still being set, waiting for its next victim. The forest itself is known for having a heavy, oppressive atmosphere, a palpable sense of sorrow and anger left behind by centuries of betrayal and death. And here we are at our number 1 most haunted forest in the world. And folks, this one is something else. It's not a forest in the traditional sense, but a small island, a chinampa, in the canals of Xochimilco, near Mexico City. Welcome to Isla de las Muñecas, the Island of the Dolls. The story goes that decades ago, the island's sole caretaker, Don Julian Santana Barrera, found the body of a young girl who had drowned in the canal. Shortly after, he found her doll floating nearby. To honor her spirit and protect himself from being haunted, he hung the doll on a tree. But one doll wasn't enough. Don Julian claimed the girl's spirit was restless, so he began collecting and hanging more dolls, hundreds, then thousands of them. He covered the entire island in dolls with missing limbs, decapitated heads, and empty eye sockets, all hanging from trees, decaying in the sun and rain. Visitors to the island today say they can feel the dolls' eyes following them. They report hearing the dolls whispering to each other, laughing, and even moving their heads or opening their eyes. The tragic irony? In 2001, Don Julian's body was found drowned in the very same canal where he said he found the little girl. Now some believe his spirit has joined hers, trapped forever on this nightmarish island of dolls. And exhale. We made it out. From the sorrowful sea of trees in Japan to the absolute nightmare fuel of the Island of the Dolls, we've journeyed through some of the most paranormally charged woodlands on the planet. These are places where history, tragedy, and folklore have combined to create something truly terrifying. Places that remind us that even in the most beautiful natural settings, darkness can take root. Each story leaves you with that little shiver, that glance over your shoulder, wondering what really lurks just beyond the edge of the firelight. It's a testament to the power of a good ghost story and the unsettling possibility that we're not always alone in the woods. So now I have to ask, which one got to you the most? For me it's a tough call, but there's something about the sheer deliberate creepiness of the Island of the Dolls that will be haunting my dreams for a while. Or maybe it was the headless boy of Dow Hill. Let me know in the comments which forest story sent the biggest chill down your spine. I genuinely want to know what kind of horror resonates with you all the most. Your stories and reactions are what make this community so great, so don't be shy. If you enjoyed our little trip to the dark side of the great outdoors, please do all the good stuff that helps our channel grow. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure, whether it's serene or spooky. Thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and maybe stick to the well-lit paths for a while.